Okay, this is a starter out of a 4.3 Mercruiser LX in 96. I was having some starting problems with it. This starter I'm just going to actually replace because I got it out. It was really easy to get it out for me. I've heard that these things can be a bit of a bear for some people. I just pulled off those carpet pieces, which basically obstruct a lot of the view here. From there, you've got perfect access to, those are all the starter wires and starter bolts in right there. Tons of room to pull out what I need to pull out. Yeah, so I was just getting the clicking sound. The slave solenoid there, I have tested already, and I do get the click out of it, so it's good. Now, where the problem comes in, and again, I was replacing is this. This is the main starter solenoid. This, turns out, was my problem. Right there. Getting power, wasn't getting nearly enough power to turn over, which is why it was clicking and kind of heating up all the cables too. So that's obviously not activating the plunger on this thing. So if you're ever curious how these things work, once you get it out with the two bolts here and here, obviously from upside down the starter, they're easy to get to, a 1/2 inch socket on this one. You pull out these two little guys, I think they're 10 millimeter, which run down here through this case. So you pull those out, and basically you're going to pull this housing on because it looks like that. And then you pull the housing off. Once you get the housing off, you're going to have inside your armature. And that was inside here, and it faces down that way. So what happens is you've got your ground cable there, which is hooked up to your solenoid here. And then your positive, and then your yellow with the red. And then obviously when you hit your key switch, it goes to the slave. The slave sends signal here, connects that with the positive side of the terminal. And then from there, you've got your negative, and then all your ions start flying. And I don't know how much you can see inside of this thing. But there are 4 brushes in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, the inside of it's pretty damn corroded. There's a bunch of grease and gunk all over the magnets, which sometimes can be acceptable, but this is just, it looks too much. Some of the brushes are cracked, like that one right there is cracked, and there's corrosion there, so I'd rather have got it out. I mean, new starter's $60, so let's buy a new one. So yeah, basically you've got your power, then runs through your 4 brushes onto the back end of your armature. And anytime you get a coil, this is a magnetic housing. If you energize a coil, that's an electromagnet. You're going to start spinning around in a circle, and then when this thing spins, it's made it into the gears. As I try and do this with one hand, which isn't working very well. It mates into the gears on the starter, and you've got a little plunger in there. And then you've got your gear head. So basically, when this thing is hooked in, when you activate it, it'll suck in. And when that sucks in, let's see if I can get this to do it. It pulls that gear out, which is engages your flywheel. And then, of course, once that's happening simultaneously, you get your armature that's spinning as well. When that thing starts to spin, then it turns your starter, and that's what starts your engine. So, this is a starter out of a Mercruiser. Again, 96, 4.3 LX. And just for all those really curious about how this works, don't feel bad or shy about pulling it apart. It wasn't bad. I had this starter out of the boat probably within 5 minutes, and it was the first time I've ever played with one of these. The operation's pretty simple. Putting it back together is pretty easy as well, but I can see that my solenoid's wrecked. I got too much corrosion, cracked brushes and stuff in here, so again, I might as well just spend the $60 and get a new starter and put it in. So that should be about it, and hopefully I can get it in and everything will work proper. So I hope that's somewhat helpful to anybody out there. Yeah, enjoy.